Now, to my farthest right is Mr. George Gibore, the Secretary General of the Kenya Union Clinical Officers. Very good morning, sir.
Good morning, and thank you for having me.
Thank you very much for definitely making time. Now, let us just begin with the Standard. And the front page of the Standard says, home of wash cleaners. A government report points to a worrying trend where money launderers are found a safe haven. The rise in suspicious financial transactions over the past 2 years shows the multi-billion shilling illicit trade is not only thriving, but putting the economy under pressure. Now, that's a story on page 4, and they say there are 6,633 new suspicious transactions in the year 2023 compared to 6,064 in 2022. Let me begin with Honorable Pukose, because you sit in the National Assembly. There were concerns that there's need for legislation to counter issues or matters of, wash in the country, because they're reporting there's a rise and it's putting a lot of pressure on the economy. I don't know what you have to say in regards to this particular story.
Thank you. I think issues about money laundering and wash, where you have excess money that is not accounted for, is not in a regulatory way. Mm-hmm. Those are issues that concerns a nation, and it concerns the economy of the country, and can ruin the economy of the country. And therefore, I think apparently you've been seeing cases where you have DCI arresting individuals who are involved in wash, arresting individuals who have money that they cannot account. We've also seen people parade themselves in social media with huge chunks of money that it should not be in somebody's hands, because apparently people should be able to bank the money in the right places, in the banks, and any other institution that can be able to do that. So when you see cases where individuals parade themselves in social media, show off with lots of money, and then I think there is need for us to have proper regulation to make sure that such activities are actually criminalized, so that you are able to rein on financial management and the cash flows within this country.
Fair enough. Mr. Gibore, we on the same issue, I like the fact that Honorable Pukose has alluded to people, flashing loads and loads of cash even on social media. Some of those who've been accused of doing that and, showcasing huge stacks of money on social media, some of them are members of the, legislators, be it senators, be it members of the National Assembly. What do you think needs to be done to tackle this particular mess?
What needs to be done, I think we have laws that are governing the money laundering, not just only in the country, and also international charters that we have adopted as a country, because we exist in a global system, ecosystem, where some of the laws that applies outside there, they are also adopted in our country. I think it is bad manners for any legislature or any leader or any other person who is holding a position to continue them showing to Kenyans what they owe, or rather how they, without telling us how they have obtained such money, because we know what they are supposed to be earning, and we expect what they have, and we know the demands they have in their own, even if they are MPs in their own constituencies, that they have very poor people in object poverty, that they cannot even support their children to go to school. They are not able to procure even medical services, but you continue demonstrating, behaving in a bad manner, that you're showing us money that you cannot actually defend or even show where you got it from. I think that we are not lacking any law, and we should not be seeing constitutional organs, or rather government organizations, coming to lament about money laundering instead of taking action, so that we can be able to attest. As Kenyans, we will appreciate for those who are coming out demonstrating action that linger around money laundering, they should be called as such and action be taken as the law provide.
Fair enough. Honorable Mburu, shifting gears, there's another story on the top right of the Standard, and the Deputy President, that is Professor Kithure Kindiki, is officially taken over as the party's Deputy Party Leader. In his address, acceptance speech, allow me to call it that, he said he will prioritize not only the unity of the party, but also the unity of the country. I don't know, what are your expectations of the new Deputy President and Deputy Party Leader of the party that you belong to?
Thank you very much. I think with the current political atmosphere that we do have in our country, I think the President and the Deputy President have a responsibility not only to unite Kenyans, but also to deliver in what they promised the people. However, they must be attuned to what Kenyans are saying and what Kenyans are feeling, regardless in terms of either the development or even the political pressures that are coming from various points in the country. So they have definitely their work cut out for them. So is the Deputy President Kithure Kindiki. They have their work cut out for them. And we do believe that the political climate is going to either one way or the other vindicate them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Let's shift gears to the Daily Nation. And Honorable Pukose, the top story on the Daily Nation is, they say, plum job for 6 billion oil scam suspect. Trade CS Salim Vuria is on the spot for allegedly influencing the appointment of Lucy Anangwe as the managing director of the Kenya National Trading Corporation, despite being adversely mentioned in the 6.5 billion edible oil scandal. I mean, this will not be the first case of someone who's a suspect in a scandal in the country being appointed into office by either a CS or the government in itself. I mean, what does this mean in the fight against graft if we are seeing people who are involved or suspects in graft cases being appointed into office, state officers for that case?
You know, our law is such in a way that you are innocent until proven guilty. If you are mentioned and there is enough evidence for you to be prosecuted, I think you should be prosecuted. And ESCC and DPP should be able to rein on cases where individuals have been mentioned in graft cases, and they have enough evidence to have them prosecuted. So unless, to me, somebody there is enough evidence to prosecute, then you can't say that somebody was just mentioned and presume that that person is guilty. You know, this mentioning at times is a question of, as much as, people occupy offices. And as people occupy offices, you might be in that office and directly you are not involved in the scam that happened. But we have institutions within our country, the ESCC and the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions and the DCI. So anybody being mentioned and you have an evidence there that this person is guilty of having been involved in any corruption scandal, that person should be prosecuted and should not occupy any government office.
Fair enough. Mr. Gibore, I don't know, Honorable Pukosan, of course that is indeed true. Anybody is innocent until proven guilty, and that cannot, sort of stop someone from being appointed. But it begs the question, I mean, when you are appointed into an office where the scandal happened and you are accused of being involved in a scandal that happened in the same institution that you've been appointed into, I mean, there's some sort of conflict of interest. And again, number two, why not wait until the investigations are over so that you can appoint this particular person?
I think you're right in what we are saying, and Honorable Kose is also very right that you are innocent until proven guilty. But we, from my side and where I stand, I think we are not lacking people who can hold the office. And actually, you being in question in terms of having lost the public resources, especially talking about 6 billion, I think that is already tinted. You have already portrayed a picture that you are not trusted, and the office you are going to occupy, no Kenyan is willing to trust such a person until indeed you have been vindicated that you are not the one who was involved. Then if you are not the one who was involved, because then you are the in charge, you are the person who is supposed to take the highest responsibility. I think the moral legal, how do we portray ourselves as public servants? You know very well that you are being accused of something, and then you just want to just a position like you are the clean one than any other person. You tell me that he was the only one who was interested with this position. Was it only reasonable that we clean up, at least wait, you can get other job? Is this the only job designated for this person? I think it is about moral. Even when you say you have not been found guilty, how do you feel that people don't trust you? You are being questioned and you just appear, you just want to hold the country and horse. I think this is where mistrust grows. And we must be able to tell the CS and whoever is perpetuating the same that whatever we are doing is killing public institution by eroding the trust that Kenyan will be having. And it is not even about her alone. If you look at about public officers who are holding position of the CEO, to mention a few, even I saw in the course of this year, even KNH CEO was being questioned, but are still holding offices. How do you call Kenyan and rally Kenyan to trust such a public offices? I think then this is where other countries defeat us, that you have been accused of having been involved in a scam or corruption. Please step aside, be investigated if you trust the process, because we know how we lose our resources. If someone is in position, they don't totally involve themselves directly. They have a way of using their proxy and their system so that they defeat the system. I think that is one of the things that we fear when we see such a things happening. Probably they are being returned there so that they cover up.
Okay. Honorable Mburu, yes. They say investment, CS and trade CS Salim Vuya, on the same day, because there's a small note, and they say on the same day that KMTC board chairperson Hussein Debasso wrote an advisory to the CS, Mr. Mvuya, the CS, dispatched trade PS Alfred Kombudo to KMTC premises to expedite Ms. Lucy Anangwe's appointment. That raises even more questions, that despite an advisory, he still went ahead.
I think I'm going to agree with Gibose here on certain levels, because as a country that with the challenges that we are facing in government, we should put more effort towards regaining the trust with the people that we serve. Because we serve in these appointive positions, you serve them in trust of the people of Kenya so that you can provide services. If people cannot trust you when they come to your office that you're going to deliver what is within the mandate of that office or the mandate of that institution, then at the end of the day, then we question, Kenyans are going to question your responsibility or even your ability to perform in that position. I would also want to note that there is a saying that goes that show me your friends and I'm going to tell you who you are. And this is a question of integrity that sometimes we fail to look, even those that we appoint to certain positions. And it's even when you are innocent till proven guilty in our courts of law. But as public officers, then we should be held to a higher standard, because we hold this position in trust of the Kenyan people to provide services for them. If they cannot trust you by the face when they get to that office, because I do believe with a population of almost 50 million Kenyans, we don't like people with the expertise, the knowledge, who are not even mentioned in any scandal. In any case, if she was really innocent in all the charges that are mentioned in all that, then she should have been the whistleblower. In any case, you should have been the whistleblower, being on the good side, saying that this is what should have been done. And these are the questions that keep arising. You cannot say you are innocent on one hand, you are accused of something, but you cannot provide evidence in the office that you are serving on a scandal that is happening in your office. And these are the questions that Kenyans ask themselves each and every day when they see such stories, they see such actions, and they are asking themselves, can we really trust the face of the government if this is the appointive positions that they are giving us for to serve the people?
Okay, fair enough. Because of time, there's a story on page 8 of the Daily Nation, and it's also the top story on Taifa Leo. And Taifa Leo says, akanyangiwa hela za AUC. Honorable Pukose, we do know that Raila Odinga is angling to become the next AUC chairperson. But they say, let me just read what Taifa Leo say. Kikosi cha kampeni za Raila AUC chalalama kunyimwa pesa za kuanza shughuli. They say that the campaign secretariat say that they need around 77 million shillings to, for traveling alone across Africa to campaign for Odinga to become the next AUC chairperson. And they say out there it has been portrayed as if they've been given that money, but that money has not been given to them. And therefore they will need to account for money that was not even given to them. Is this likely to hinder, if at all it's true, is this likely to hinder Odinga's campaigns?
Thank you. First, I want to wish the Right Honorable Raila Odinga success and hope that he will win the AUC chairmanship. I don't know who is the one claiming that allegation from Raila's campaign secretariat, because they have not quoted any specific individual that this is the one who is making the claim. And therefore, I would not want to comment on it, because you see, everybody and the President Ruto's government is actually fully supporting the campaigns of Right Honorable Raila Odinga. You saw the other day the Prime Cabinet, Honorable Musalia Mudavadi was there, PS Korir Sing'oei was also there. And the President has actually been one of the champions to ensure that the Right Honorable Raila Odinga wins this. Because this is not just for the Right Honorable Raila Odinga, it's for the Kenyan country as a country. And is our candidate for this country. And therefore, such a kind of allegations, I think, should just be treated as allegations and dismissed with the contempt it deserves.
Fair enough. Mr. Gibore, just, I don't want to pick your mind on the same. From where you sit, Mr. Odinga faces a very, very strong candidate from Djibouti. And many people have tipped it to be a two-horse race between Odinga and the candidate from Djibouti. From where you sit, do you think this time around we can secure that particular seat, having failed before through when Ambassador Amina Mohamed vied for that particular post and lost to the outgoing chairperson Musa Faki Mahamat?
I think very interesting. We have a very strong candidate in the name of His Excellency Raila Odinga. And I do not expect that by any manner. He never expected any competition. And having been participated in several elected positions, he knows the task. And a good thing is what Honorable Pukose is saying, the government is supporting. And I believe the East African community has also demonstrated the support to the same. We believe that we stand a good chance, because it is not just him, but of course a representative of the country, and any other Kenyan of goodwill must be able to wish him well. I think some of the support, if that was coming from his campaign team, I think there are things they need to choose on what to say, because I don't think the 77 million should be the problem. They need to focus in what really will add value into his campaign. Because if the government is supporting, I don't think, even if there could be some such a challenges, those are things that need to be done under the carpet. Thank you.
Okay, fair enough. Honorable Mburu, even as we wrap up the newspaper review, the People Daily, on the front page, they talk about state medical cover, U-turn. We'll talk about that in our conversation, because we'll base our conversation on matters health. But there's a story on page 2, and they see CS Chirchir in knee-jerk reaction over JKIA extortion embarrassment. Now, a few days ago, there was an Egyptian national by the name Dina Sheriff. She complained about, officials at the JKIA extorting money from her. And she says she had 15 books, 20 t-shirts, and some MIT caps. Initially, I was asked to pay $1,200 US. That is around 154,000 Kenyan shillings. Then it was reduced to $950, and finally to $800, which is around 103,000, with no clear explanation of how these figures were determined. I mean, at a time when we are talking about as well expanding, and that is an entire different issue, expanding and running operations of JKIA, there seems to be serious cases of extortion and concerns about corruption in that particular facility, because that situation in itself erodes even investor confidence in the country.
I think that's the story of Kenya. In every other institution, in every other place where people interact with government official in position of authority, whether it's when you're interacting with the police, whether you are dealing with officers at JKIA, whether you are dealing with officers at the port. That's the story of Kenya. Because with the current economic situation, and we have seen over and over again, every time that you interact with government officials in position of authority, then it's a ripe area for areas of extortion or even bribery in certain situations. However, we don't to put it as this. As a nation, we need to invest on measures and structures that tend to remove direct interactions that may cause such scenarios. And one of them is use of technology and digitization. If we need to collect, for example, if we need to collect more taxes from our taxpayers, then there is need to create efficiency on how we do collect this, and mostly relying on technology. And I'm going to use an example of what has been happening, and I'm going to give an example in my county. When we realized, for example, there is a few extortions when happening to application of a single business permit. By the time a person gets to a sub-county office to apply for a single business permit, he's asked for some cash. And before you even pay that cash, you ask for another to produce the business permit itself. So by the time you are paying to the government, you have already paid other 3 people the same amount of money that you should have paid, even more than what you should have paid to the government. What did we do? We put in measures and provided for technology that you don't need to interact with any government officer for you to pay your single business permit and get it. So that now, by removing that interaction, you are able to ensure that the service is provided. There is nothing new in JKI that cannot be used, cannot either use technology or digitalization, so that we can either collect our taxes, collect our levies, collect our import duty on any manner, so that we can eliminate such kind of scenarios of extortion. If you move outside of this country, go to airports in Dubai, go to Europe, you are going to find serious technological investments that have eliminated the need to interact with officials who can extort you. And this is the journey that we should take as Kenyans and even as institutions to ensure that we provide technology that removes such cases. Okay, thank you very much. Gentlemen, I'd have loved us to, as well, dissect other issues, because there are various concerns. There's an issue of a lady who left their home 30 days ago, but later she was found dead. But because of time, I just want us to take a brief break, and then we'll be back to talk about matters health, even as we mark around 5.5 weeks since the rollout of the Social Health Insurance Fund across the country amid jitters over its implementation. That will be immediately after this brief breather. Don't go away.